أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله Lord, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, and master of the universe, the most gracious, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Ya Allah, it is on you that we worship and it is your guidance that we seek. Ya Allah, keep us in the straight path. Ya Allah, shower us with your choice of blessings. Ya Allah, shower us with your mercy. Ya Allah, guide us. Greetings, salam, salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It is now 13 minutes past 7 Central African time on this beautiful and warm Monday evening, the 1st of December 2025. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to Business Matters on Radio Al Ansar. My name is Faisal MJ Suleiman. I'll be sitting in for Brother Anwar Mullah this evening, and our topic for discussion is global opportunities for entrepreneurs. Our special guest who hails from Egypt this evening is Dr. Wael El Dasuki, the Secretary General of Saleh Kamal Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development Organization. And we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Dr. Wael El Dasuki, and Jazakallah khair for joining me in the program this evening.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to have access to audience in South Africa, and I'm very excited to be part of it.
I want to thank you for joining us, and it is our honor, Dr. Dasuki. Now, sir, from your perspective, what defines the spirit of entrepreneurship in today's global economy?
Actually, the thing is about entrepreneurship, and it's been there for years, but we have been used to the traditional business and traditional business practices, assets-heavy businesses, buying land, buying manufacturing lines, distribution capacities, and so on. And the term entrepreneurship, it came up with the tech bubble and innovation kind of companies, innovative companies, innovative startups. Most of them are tech-based or tech-enabled somehow, not necessarily deep tech, not necessarily innovations in new hardware or new technology, but new ways of doing business, leveraging resources of other communities and networks. So the keyword is innovation, and this innovation made it possible to have a kind of scalable business with exponential growth rate. So the business can scale maybe 20 times sales year over year, 30 times sales year over year, up to hundreds of times double the sales volume and the turnover year over year. And the valuation of the company, it can turn off in hundreds of millions of dollars in a very short period of time. So that's why this concept became new with the emerging new technologies.
Now, Dr. Dasuki, what are some of the biggest opportunities you see emerging for entrepreneurs in the current international business climate?
Actually, there are many opportunities. Definitely after AI, there is a big list. But for now, AI is the keyword. AI is part of everything. AI is part of tourism, is part of agribusiness, is part of any manufacturing, is part of all business and all disciplines, is part of logistics. One of the companies, actually, it's a company, but it's a solopreneur company, only one founder, and he runs an e-commerce platform. Everything is AI automated. It's an autonomous company, so the marketing is done with AI. The pricing is done with AI. Handling customer complaints and chatbot, which is an AI. Logistics and shipping is done via AI. So the entire business is done autonomous. So the thing is not necessarily innovating or coming up with new LLMs or large language models, but the thing is how to utilize the AI technologies and the current AI tools as AI layers over the business. How to utilize AI to improve my customer experience, to improve my logistics, to improve my operations, to improve my management and team dynamics. This is one thing, but AI is not the only thing. I mean, there would always be opportunities in traditional business, like agribusiness, maybe technologies in agriculture or agricultural technologies, maybe tourism and this kind of, I would say, ecology businesses. So, I mean, everyone is going after AI, everyone is going after deep tech, everyone is going after new innovation and new technologies. But there is a kind of shortage now with traditional business because it's getting more difficult and more complicated, but there is always demand for it. One of the startups that I've seen from Cape Town, it's a family business. They have an aquaponics farm. They use fish, chicken, eggs, and of course vegetables. The innovation the innovation here is about the ecosystem, the integration, the synchronization. What kind of vegetables works with what kind of fish, with what kind of chicken? So their capacity or productivity per month, they get 5 tons of fish per month, and this is almost 6 times double the maximum capacity of other aquaponics or aquaponic farms. So the innovation here is in the integration or synchronization or ecosystem development. So I mean, AI is part of everything. Then let's not forget about traditional business because there is always opportunities for food, for agribusiness, for tourism, and of course, maybe one of the things that we focus on and succeed as an organization affiliated with the Islamic Chamber of Commerce is the halal opportunities. Halal entrepreneurship, halal food, halal tourism, halal is part of everything. Halal financing, for example. So there are many fintech companies and fintech startups that are trying to offer financing solutions that is Sharia compliant. Financing solutions as debt financing, as equity financing, as crowdfunding, as crowd lending. There are many alternatives and even investment vehicles, so people can invest in stocks, maybe stocks, Dow Jones, for example, but only invest in Sharia compliant stocks. So, there is a massive opportunity for Muslims globally in this space as well.
Jazakallah khair for that. Now, Dr. Dasuki, how can entrepreneurs from developing countries position themselves to compete and collaborate globally?
Yes, this is very important. I come from Egypt, and we've been working with startups for so many years in many sectors. And it happened in one of our acceleration programs that we've sent some startups to Germany, to Berlin, to Karlsruhe, to Munich, to Stuttgart. And we've also sent startups to China and startups to Japan and startups to Saudi Arabia. Most of the German ecosystem, they were very much interested in robotics, next generation of autonomous vehicles, next generation of car batteries, electric car batteries, next generation of AI. But when it comes to innovative solutions in logistics, innovative solutions in tourism, innovative solutions in agribusiness, they are not that much excited about it. So, and this is a big difference because when we're talking about developing economies, developing countries, or maybe different clusters, not necessarily the Silicon Valley model or the American market or the European market. For example, let's talk about the OIC economy, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the 57 Muslim countries. There is a massive business opportunity and exchange of opportunities between these countries and between these nations, because there are so many similarities in terms of perceptions, usage and attitude, consumer preferences, maybe lifestyle, and many parts of it. And so exchange of products, exchange of imports and exports between these countries, exchange of technology, exchange of startups. So, for example, when a Tunisian company wants to penetrate the Indonesian market or Nigerian market or Saudi market, it's quite better opportunity for this company from Tunisia, maybe from Egypt, maybe from South Africa, and it's better or it's easier to compete with this ecosystem rather than competing with other companies in the US or other companies in Germany or other companies. So I mean, there is an opportunity in emerging market. It is even in some cases, or some, I would say, business leaders, they say that it is better to penetrate these markets because the markets are easier to penetrate. There is a big room for innovation because of the market. It's not as advanced as other markets.
Now, sir, having said that, in your experience, what are the key qualities or mindsets that successful entrepreneurs share?
Yes, this is very important because the difference between entrepreneur and a multinational company is the founder or the founding team. Mm-hmm. And based on what we've seen, the founding team, they are very agile, very flexible, very resilient. And in the beginning, they start with an idea in mind, they start with a plan, they start with a business model. But most probably, maybe 90%, it turns to be a different thing, a completely different, maybe different idea, maybe different business model, maybe different pricing, maybe different market, maybe different product attributes. So this is one of the main things about the entrepreneur. They don't know exactly the market dynamics like the multinational companies. They invest in research, they invest in understanding the market dynamics. In addition to that, they hire the most, or they pay the most professional and well-paid executives, and they probably penetrate the existing market with the existing dynamics. But for entrepreneurs, it's a new market, new concept, new idea. Even there is no best practice for this market. So they must be resilient, they must be agile, they must be flexible. This is one thing. The second thing is the team dynamics. So the team dynamics, because in some cases we've seen 3 or 4 co-founders, all of them with the same background, like all of them are tech background, maybe business or sales background. So ideally, they should complement each other. So someone with a tech background, someone with a business background, someone with maybe agricultural background, tourism background. It depends on the company, it depends on the sector. But they must complement each other. And even the equity split, who gets how much equity of the company, again, it depends on their contribution. It depends on the relevant importance of this function to the business, to the company. So yes, of course, it is very important. And I would say most of the investors or the VC funds that we meet, they always say that founding team is the most important variable or element for the success of the company.
Absolutely. Now, sir, how important is ethical and values-based entrepreneurship in building sustainable and trusted businesses?
Allah, I love this question because it's getting somehow common now. Many maybe organizations, they speak about impact entrepreneurship or impact investing. The word impact is very exciting because impact means that the purpose of this company, it has an impact, or maybe developing the society, developing the economy. The word ethical entrepreneurship is more comprehensive because ethical means that, of course, the impact of the business must be there. It's a business that brings positive impact to the society. In addition to that, all aspects of the business should be ethical in terms of marketing. The marketing messages, even the label, the content on the label must be ethical. The advertising messages, like some companies on TikTok or Instagram, they exaggerate in the marketing message. They overpromise their consumers, and when you get a product, you find it's something else. This is unethical. and the HR practices, HR in terms of team compensation, salaries, commitment, and all the HR practices must be ethical. And the use of data, client data, this is very important. Everyone must sign the consent form or agree about the data usage policy. And in some cases, it's not ethical, and we have to sign it to use the product. So what kind of utilization of my data or your data, it must be ethical. The use of AI, there is a big move towards ethical AI in the biggest universities in the world, how to use AI in an ethical way. So, I mean, ethics is in every aspect of the business. And of course, first thing, the purpose of the business. Are you selling tobacco or maybe alcohol? Or your company is helping the community or agribusiness and trying to feed people? So I mean, ethical entrepreneurship is a very important concept, and this concept for us at Succeed specifically is I would say our main slogan or main label. We are trying to promote this concept worldwide. We just came from Mecca. We had a Mecca Entrepreneurship Forum last week. And yes, and the theme of the forum was mainly focused on ethical entrepreneurship. Ethical in terms of ethical money, even ethical financing and ethical marketing and ethical HR and everything. So this is a very important concept, and we are trying to work hard to promote this concept, inshallah.
Inshallah, I mean, we're going to take a quick ad break. We'll continue on the other side of this. Do stay with us, Doctor. You're listening to Business Matters, brought to you by the Minara Chamber of Commerce on Radio Al Ansar, and hosted by myself, Faisal MJ Sulaiman. Our topic for discussion is global opportunities for entrepreneurs. Our special guest is Dr. Wael Al-Dasuki, the Secretary General of Saleh Kamal Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development Organization. And of course, as I said, we're discussing global opportunities for entrepreneurs. Now, Dr. Dasuki, what role does innovation and technology play in shaping the next generation of entrepreneurs, especially in the Islamic world? Now, I know you've emphasized quite a bit during the first half of the show, the importance of innovation and technology. If you could expand on that, please.
Yes, of course. Innovation technology is very important to the entire world, to the entire globe, to all markets, to all countries, to all nations, to all continents. Usage of AI, usage of technology, usage of blockchain, usage of fintech, usage of even technology in health tech. So there are many startups now in the health tech space. They automate or they do diagnosing technologies to diagnose or maybe to inspect or maybe to recommend medicine based on AI, based on technology. The same for agriculture. Using robots in agricultural, some hydroponic farms or aquaponic farms in Netherlands, for example, are 100% autonomous. 100% in terms of from planting the seed till harvesting and all the process, even insect killing is done via drones. But when it comes to the Islamic world, again, it's part of the global ecosystem. But there are other opportunities to be added. For example, in the fintech space, I know so many businesses and so many startups in the fintech. They are trying to build Sharia-compliant financing products like Wahed, like Facet, like Kestrel, so you can access many investment opportunities or investment funds or VC funds through a technology platform. Maybe another company in Saudi Arabia, and they just got an investment from Hassan VC in Malaysia. Ta'min Takafuli. So it's an insurance company, but Sharia compliant insurance, and they use blockchain in the back end of their company to make sure that they are using a safe technology. And speaking of the blockchain is very important, for example, for tracing materials and tracing products like halal food and halal products. One of the main challenges is tracing the sources of every single ingredient of each product. So blockchain can be very useful. So I mean, when it comes to the Islamic world, at the end of the day, I mean, it is market. So the market dynamics, the innovations, that the technologies that works everywhere in the world, it works there. In addition to that, there are many other business opportunities that is customized because it is either Sharia compliant or serving halal business or halal industry or halal market. So yes, there are so many opportunities in this space.
And how can young entrepreneurs access mentorship, investment, international exposure through platforms like the ICCD and especially through the membership partnership through the Minara Chamber?
Chambers of commerce are very essential and important vehicle and supporters to entrepreneurs. It's a main mandate for all chambers of commerce like Minara and other chambers of commerce across OIC and globally, because the chambers they have access to most of the business community in the city or in the country. And what really entrepreneurs need is this access to this network. There is a study by the top accelerators in the world globally, and they were asking about what exactly entrepreneurs need to scale or to be successful at their business. Do they need training, like traditional training offered by academies or maybe universities and so on? Or do they need investment, just direct investment, or they need access to mentorship, and what kind of mentorship? So the thing is, they don't really need training because training is just available online on YouTube and other training vehicles. And for investment, most of the startups that we meet are not investable yet. They are not ready to get investment, so they need to be ready to that. Mm-hmm. So they really need mentorship. And what kind of mentorship? The study says that the most important mentorship needed is mentorship from an entrepreneur, from a serial entrepreneur, from a businessman who's been in the business for years and who's been running company, maybe in the same industry or different industry, but his or her advice is the best. It can save years from the entrepreneur or maybe the early stage company. It can save them years of success. And this is exactly the massive network that chambers of commerce, like Minara Chamber of Commerce, like the ICCD, they have access to more than 60 chamber of commerce. Across all of the Muslim countries, the 57 Muslim countries, and there are other chambers in South Africa, in Thailand, in other countries, in Brazil, for example, in UK, who are very active and very open to support and very open to cooperate. So yes, it is very important for any entrepreneur to use and utilize this network. It's a massive network, real network of real business leaders, and this is the most important for any founder success.
And what are some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face when scaling their business internationally, and how can they overcome them?
One of the main challenges for international scalability is finding the right partner. I've done my PhD on and this is, by coincidence, this topic is specifically my PhD study. I've done my PhD on how startups can be internationally oriented. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? What are the strategies that they can utilize? And I realized, based on interviewing many companies who could raise millions of dollars investment, number one for internationalization is the strong partnerships. And to find the right partner is not an easy job. You can always promote your product online, on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. But to find the right partner, this means that you are heavily involved in this country, in this ecosystem, and you've dealt or you've been working with many, maybe companies or partners or individuals, and then you choose the right partner for your business. And here, is a major role for enablers like chambers of commerce, like accelerators, like incubators, like entrepreneurship support organizations, like Succeed, for example. One of our main objectives is to help startups to scale their business across OIC, the 57 Muslim countries, and internationally. Because we have access to chambers of commerce, we have access to partners in Malaysia, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Bahrain, Qatar, you name it, in different countries, different parts of the world. So when there is a company that wants to scale in some country, we just make several introductions, connections with potential partners or potential supporters who can give them good, I would say, or at least credible or honest advice on how to scale or who are the suitable partner for this company. So partnerships is the most important for internationalization.
And how do you see collaboration between entrepreneurs across regions such as Africa, the Middle East, and Asia contributing to inclusive global growth?
I think this could be somehow relevant to the previous question because collaboration and partnerships is very important. And maybe there is a kind of a shift in the global trade map now because of maybe the tariffs policy changed by the US government to other countries. So and maybe the cost of energy as well. So many companies now are shifting or are changing or are moving their headquarters, maybe part of their manufacturing facilities or capacity, maybe changing their I would say regional offices, and there is a big opportunity now. Now this is just the right time. Maybe what didn't work 10 or 20 years ago, now it's different. There is a big acceptance. There is a shift in even in the mindset of users and consumers and government, and there is an openness and several trade agreements now between these countries. So on macro level, on government level, there is momentum, there is support, and of course for entrepreneurs or for startups, for a startup in South Africa to scale to Egypt, for example, to scale to Nigeria, to scale to Saudi Arabia, there is a big opportunity. But for the same company to go to maybe Germany, the market there is very, very competitive, not necessarily a large market, but the competition is massive. So yes, this is the right time for this shift now, inshallah.
And tell me, Doctor, how do you navigate cultural differences and regulatory challenges in new countries?
In any country, you mean, or
in any new country that you go to? How do you deal with the cultural differences, the new regulatory? I mean, in your country, you use to a particular method, particular regulations. In a new country, you've got different regulations, different culture. How do you adapt to it?
This is a very smart question, because in the entrepreneurship world, it's always they have this hat of flexibility and agility. Yet the solution is unique and new. So they tackle the need of the consumer. They tackle the problem, the same problem, but they have to be flexible with the pricing, to be flexible with the language they use, the distribution channels, but the product most probably, because many of these products are tech-based or tech-enabled. So, you know, this concept of born globals or international new ventures. So the concept from the beginning, from day one, is somehow globally appealing. But the thing is, they customize the language, they customize the pricing, they customize the packaging, maybe, or depends on the market and the dynamics. But at the end of the day, I would say it works with most of the consumer groups. This is one thing. The second thing is they have to apply, for example, for maybe health tech companies. The regulations in Egypt are different from the regulations in South Africa, are different from regulations in Saudi Arabia. So they have to knock the door of each single country as a standalone market, and they have to apply for the license. And in some cases, maybe the best strategy is to acquire an existing emerging startup just to get access to this market and to get access to this license. The same applies for fintech, financial technologies. For example, in 10 years ago from now, Bahrain was the major fintech hub in the GCC region and MENA region, because it was the market was very highly regulated, and it doesn't take time to get a fintech license from the Central Bank of Bahrain. Now, the ecosystem changed significantly in the region, so you can apply for the same license in Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Qatar and United Arab Emirates and so on. So, but at the end of the day, entrepreneurs, they have to be regulated according to the regulations of each country, which is extremely difficult and different. Other than that, the product in many cases should be global, or at least internationally oriented from day one.
Absolutely. Doctor, we're going to take our next break, and after this we'll round up. Inshallah, do stay with us.
Inshallah.
11 minutes to 8 Central African time. You're listening to Business Matters on Radio Ansar, brought to you by the Minara Chambers of Commerce, and of course hosted by myself, Faisal M.J. Sulaiman. We are discussing global opportunities for entrepreneurs, and our guest this evening is Dr. Wael El Dasuki, the Secretary General of Saleh Kamal Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development Organization. Dr. Dasuki, now, in order to keep up with technology and trends, how did the new entrepreneurs keep up with the advance in technology and current global trends?
Yes, this is very important, and I think peer-to-peer learning is a key word here, because we are exposed to many entrepreneurs, to many startups, to many tech startups, to many innovators, and we are also exposed to, I would say, traditional background. So being involved and engaged in entrepreneurship conferences, in entrepreneurship or innovation-related competitions, maybe joining accelerators or incubators or joining innovation programs. And when they join these programs, acceleration programs or innovation programs, they meet with like-minded people. So they meet with other entrepreneurs who are using AI in customer service, for example. Another one who's using AI for logistics and operations management. A third one who's using who has access to VC funds and interested in sectors. So the thing is, being part of this network and being engaged and always engaged in this network and having deep conversations and peer-to-peer learning is very important. On the other side, if someone who's not part of this innovation ecosystem and he's always in the traditional business ecosystem or traditional ecosystem, not necessarily business, the probability or opportunity to meet with these entrepreneurs is difficult, except if he reads a lot and if he's really exposed. But I mean, if they meet, and this is what I've seen, and this is what we've seen, if they meet on weekly basis with 15 to 20 other entrepreneurs or other innovators, the probability to have this mindset is much higher. So exposure, being part of these networks, being part of different innovation or acceleration programs is very important. And it's a mind shift milestone. I've seen that several times. One of the startups was a logistics company, and it was a kind of, they were applying for a program and they were rejected because there is an investment panel or investment committee, but we gave him an opportunity for networking just to join one of our conferences and platforms. When this company went to this conference, he met with other investors and other entrepreneurs, and they started to mentor him. In 2 months, he changed the idea completely, and then in 1 year, he exited or sold out his equity from this company for a massive amount of money, and then he joined a third company for 40% equity. The starting point was exposure. So exposure is very important.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Wael El-Dasuki, I want to thank you for joining me in the program this evening. It's really been very informative and been wonderful talking to you. But I'm sure that you have a message to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to turn their ideas into lasting, impactful businesses, sir.
Maybe what I can say is just start. Because many entrepreneurs, when they think of a business idea, they go into this analysis paralysis kind of, we want to develop a business plan and business model, and we want to wait until we have the best version of our idea, and we will just start, because most probably, they will change. So start quickly to change quickly to be successful or to succeed faster. Otherwise, if they keep on waiting until they have the best version of the idea, this means that they are losing time. And whenever they start, they will change probably, because this is most of the successful companies globally. They have changed and pivoted and updated and changed their business model several times till they reach this final or updated version of the product. So start now, and then let's see what's happening.
Thank you. I love that advice. Dr. Dasuki, thank you very much for joining me in the program this evening. Really, as it's been very informative, and I've learned a lot personally. I'm sure our listeners have learned as well, and we thank you for it. So all the best to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. It's an honor, and thank you very much for this amazing interview. Thank you.
We spoke to Dr. Wael El-Dasuki, the Secretary General of Saleh Kamal Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development Organization, and he spoke to us about global opportunities for entrepreneurs. Time for us to round up. You'll be listening to the news, and thereafter you'll be listening to Q&A with Mufti Abdul Qadir Hussain Saab, and of course that program is hosted by Hafiz Hussain Wadi. Time for us to round up. So for myself, Faisal M.J. Suleiman, I must thank Sister Amina from the Minara Chamber of Commerce for having produced this program, and of course Brother Asif Pili for having attended to the technicals and to have engineered the show. And Asif, thank you for the job well done. All the best to you, and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the evening. And from myself, Faisal M.J. Suleiman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.